Everybody stop what you're doing right now and go and watch Warriors on HBO Max. If you like Peaky Blinders and you like Kung Fu, literally merge those two together and that baby is Warrior. Also maybe check out Euphoria and Watchmen if you haven't already. And if you don't have HBO Max, what are you, poor? Boys and girls, welcome back to 20 More Pounds of Sean. I'm your host, Eduardo. If you don't know, it's a show about a depressed medical student who eats his way to 200 pounds. So stay tuned to see if I lose it. Want to hit you guys with a quick, but very significant update. It seems like a lot of things are changing. They're changing in ways to help make the whole medical process, or all the growing pains of medical school, a lot easier. It's like throwing Tylenol at my face. It's awesome right now. Oh, by the way, if you like my paintings over here, ignore my Metamucil right next to my bed. But if you like my paintings over here, my beautiful girlfriend got them for me. Probably one of the greatest gifts you could ever receive. And they're drawn by a friend of mine, Only My 2 Cents. Maybe go check out his work if you want to. Only My 2 Cents. Probably one of the most talented artists in this game today. Here's the good news. There's some big things going on right now. As you may know, back in May 2020, they decided to put a temporary suspension on Step 2 CS. If you don't know, CS stands for Clinical Skills or Cash Suppository. Yeah, it is one of those exams where you have I think 12 standardized patients, and then wait, how many people? No, not incognito mode. Close. Hold on, guys. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, 1 second. We're gonna get it. Okay, 12 patients. Yeah, and this thing takes all day long, and there's only a few across the United States, a few locations that do it. But it's something that takes all day. It's something that you have to prepare for. I wouldn't be able to go into this and just wing it. There's been a lot of tension behind Step 2 CS. Some people are saying it's just a cash grab. But in May 2020, they suspended it. I even remember getting the email or the announcement back then. It was like for 12 to 18 months, it's going to be suspended until we figure out a way to create a new computer program that will help simulate all of this stuff, and you could do it from the comfort of, I don't know if you do it from your own home, but that was the idea, right? Some new form or format of Step 2 CS, basically. As you may know, I am one of those students who did not have to take Step 2 CS, and thank God. Instead, what we did was we had to take an exam, OET exam, which stands for Occupational English Test. You're basically proving that you could speak English. Still an annoying thing, another step we had to do, but it costed just around the same amount of money as the Step 2 CS. I think Step 2 CS was like $1,400. This was like $900 to reserve your seat, and then also, I don't know, some extra change on top of that, and it turned out to be like $13.99. So you're not saving any money, but that doesn't matter. You're already $500,000 in debt by this time. OET is, in my opinion, much more preferred. It's a lot less stressful. It's almost like a mini SAT exam. There are 4 sections of it. It takes just about all day. It's only technically 4 hours of testing. There's a speaking, a reading, a listening, and then a writing section of the exam. Pretty straightforward. For the speaking section of it, you're basically having a discussion with the patient or a standardized patient. They tell you in the very beginning, this is not testing the amount of medical knowledge you have. It's an English speaking exam. That's very straightforward. The reading section is more like the SAT, where you have some type of memo, passage, email, and you have to basically decipher through multiple choice questions. What did they mean by this when they said this? Or paragraph 2, what did they mean by this word? Listening section, you're basically listening to an audio playback of different conversations. You start doing fill in the blank and even multiple choice questions. For those, while you're listening, you're doing it actively. But the part that I want to warn you about, the writing portion of the exam is kind of, what is the appropriate word? Horrendous poop. Well, the appropriate word is subjective, completely subjective. I think this company is from Australia or something. I don't remember, but it's completely subjective. What I do recommend you to do, type into Google OET medical sample test. And I urge you to go and do that. That's all you have to do for preparation. Make sure you do all 3 samples of the writing exam, and I will show you why. Look at my score, okay? A 350 is a passing. Anything above a 350 is a passing score. Anything below 350, you have failed that section. Listening, 450. Reading, 430. I believe I gotta be in that because I am terrible at reading still. Speaking, 460, that's an A. And that's because of you guys. because I make videos for you guys, so I got better at speaking and stuff. But writing, look at that. I almost failed this portion of the exam. If I failed this portion of the exam, it would have destroyed my whole application process. I don't even think I would be able to get into residency this year. That is how devastating it could be. Just make sure you take it early and you take it on time, just in case you have a chance to retake it, in case you fail one of the sections. Oh, also, the writing portion. By the way, I didn't explain it. The writing portion. You are a doctor, you get a patient's chart. Your task is to write a referral letter for this patient to another doctor, like a specialist. And you have to explain, what's been going on and the reason why you're writing him this letter, you're transferring this patient, you're referring this patient to this specialist. And so I barely passed. So just make sure you practice that writing section. But now back to this announcement from USMLE. Blah, 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 blah. Following the May 2020 suspension of Step 2 CS due to COVID-19, we announced our intention to take a 12 to 1.5 year break to basically find a new way to make Step 2 CS and provide that to, all the students and whatnot. However, rapidly evolving medical education practice and technology landscapes, we have decided to discontinue Step 2 CS. Yup. Oh boy. We have no plans to bring back Step 2 CS. What a monumental occasion. This is so monumental. Yeah, and then they're saying here that in absence of Step 2 CS, elements of clinical reasoning and communication will be continued to be assessed on your other STEP exams. So it's saying that it's not using Step 1 and Step 3, and I'm guessing Step 2 CK to replace your Step 2 CS exam, but they're just gonna say, oh yeah, well, if you could get past your other steps, then we'll assume that you have good communication skills. It's not a replacement for Step 2 CS. These formats continue to contribute positively, e.g. measuring your critical knowledge of medical communications. Basically right here, it's great to see this, but it's kind of funny because it's like they're admitting that this exam was a waste of time in the first place. That is the cancel culture I am talking about. I will fully get behind that. Wow, what a day. So visceral, monumental. Oh wow, okay, I thought there was gonna be even more to this. This is amazing. Okay, so that's basically it. You can go ahead and throw away your Step 2 CS first aid books. You could focus 100% all of your energy and time on Step 2 CK, the more important beast. On top of that, Step 1 is becoming pass-fail. Step 2 CK, in my opinion, if you watch my last video, Step 1 becoming pass-fail, how does that affect you? My opinion, and from what I've heard from other directors, is that Step 2 is just going to replace Step 1, inevitably. When you take Step 1, you have like 3 months of dedicated studying time. Even a little bit of Term 5, like the second half of Term 5, is kind of basically dedicated studying time on top of that. So you have like 4 months max to take your Step 1 exam. And that is basically uninterrupted study time. There's absolutely nothing else you have to do. And this was a point that I want to bring up in my last video, especially for Step 2 CK. You're working 40, 50, even 60 to 70 sometime hours a week. You're going to be dead tired by the time you get home, and it's going to be really hard to study. From here on out, all future medical students don't have to take Step 2 CS. That just means you could really focus on Step 2 CK, especially because every second counts, especially because Step 2 CK, in my opinion, is going to overtake or become the new Step 1 score. Let's celebrate. This is one win for us. Med students 1, medical institutions 40,000,000 points. So yeah, but we still got 1, and that's all we need.